Hi everyone. In this video I want to show you how to solve two challenges at free code camp. So the first one is called Boolean, which is about checking if a value is classified as a Boolean primitive. And Boolean primitives are either, we have two Booleans basically, we have true or we have false. So we want to check if the value is true, if it's actually true, not that it's a truthy value. That's not what the point is here. So we know that basically most values are true, and we have some of them which are falsy values or truthy values. But that's not the point of this challenge. The point of it is we want to check if the actual value that is inserted in the function as a parameter or as an argument, we want to check if it is true, if it's actually the primitive true, or if it's false. And if it's not, then we return either true or false, if depending on what we enter as a value. So let me enter the editor and try to solve this. First and foremost, I have to run the extension Quokka.js, which is a VS Code extension, which allows you to basically console log things out, like console log test, and we can see the actual result right here. So we can also see it down here. So we want, actually this one is it's not really the correct file. It's this one that we want to look at. This one is the second function that I want to, the second problem that I want to solve. So this one is about entering a value, and this value, if it's true, then we want to return true, and the same goes if it's false. So if it's false or if it's true, then we return true. And if it's not one of these two values, i.e. if it's neither true or false, then we want to return false. Basically, that's what it is. So to achieve this, we want to use the Typeof object in JavaScript. So if I just try to write Typeof, my own name, Yamu, I have to run Quokka on this one as well. We see that I get string, and the same goes if I type out a number. It will give me the string number. So this is actually a string. So the Typeof object, it basically returns a string, and the same goes if I return an object like name. So we can use this actually, and I want to make a comparison with the operator, like the comparison operator, and I want to check if the type of this value, which is inserted in as an argument, if the type of this value is equal to the string of Boolean, then I want to return true. So if I try to check type of true, it will give me Boolean. And the same goes if I write type of false, it also gives me Boolean. So I can use this right now. So I can say console.log Typeof Boolean, just to check this out. So now, since it's null and null is not a Boolean, it will return false. The same goes if I enter a number, it's false, or a string like John. However, if I enter false, then it will give me true. Why? Because false is a Boolean, so this will be return true. And also if I return true, then it will of course return true. So I can use this. I can just say that I want to return this, and that's it. That's basically the solution of this problem. So if I console log it down here, obviously you don't want to console log things inside of the function. You want to return values. So right now we see that I get true, false. I also get true. A number, for instance, will return false. The same goes for a string, or an array or anything, basically. So that's the first problem solved. The second problem is to use the every method. So in JavaScript, we have the every method, which checks if every element in an array meets a criteria. So what it does is it takes in an array, or basically it works with an array, and it checks if every single element, that's why it's called every. So if every element passes a test, then it will return true, if every single one of them. But if, however, one of them doesn't meet the criteria, then it will return false. So basically, like we have 1, 5, 8, 0, and so on. If 10, if this one, for instance, doesn't meet the criteria, which is that it has to be less than 10, then this entire thing will return false. The same goes if this one doesn't meet the criteria, it will return false. So this one returns false. Why? Because we have two values that are not less than 10. So 10 is not less than 10. It's equal to 10. And the same goes for 11. So that's why it returns false. So let's try to use this in our function, check positive, to check if basically the problem is that we have to use the every method inside of a function called check positive to check if every element in R, the array, is positive. So it should return a Boolean value, either true or false. So let me go to this one. So what I can do is I can save this to like because we want to save we want to return the result of this every method. So it will give us either true or false. So what I can do is either I can save it to a variable like let result be equal to r.every and value, and then I want to use the arrow function. So what I can do is return value if it's greater than 0. So now I can console log the result, and I obviously have to. I think I have to. Let me try this out. Console log test. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I had to console log it out outside of the method. So this gives me false. Why? Because this one does not match the criteria. It's less than 0. Or you can say like, if I, however, move this element, then it will return true. So we can see right here that it returns true. But however, I want to return this. This is what we're supposed to do. As I said, we have to return values in functions. We don't just console log them out. So now, obviously, this will be true. If I add this, however, the -4, -4, it will return false. I can make this much simpler in just one line, so it doesn't. Because right now it's quite a lot of code for something that's so simple. So I don't have to save it in a variable. It's not really important. What I can do is I can return it immediately. So I want to return the value that is received or that is returned from the every method. And also, since this is only one line, in arrow functions in ES6 JavaScript, ES 2015 and above, we don't need a function body if it's only one line. So if we return like one value, then we don't need the function body with the curly braces. So I can remove that, and I can instead, I don't even use the return keyword, because if I write it like this, this is not correct. It doesn't even understand what you're trying to do. So you should remove the return keyword. And now this should work. So if I try to console logged out, we see that I get false. So this is what I get right down there. If I remove this, I get true. So it's working. So that's basically the solution that I used to solve this problem. And if you have any other solution that you want to share, obviously these two problems are quite simple. But if you have anything you want to share about the every method or about the Typeof, then please do so in the comments below. And that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time.